Hello students, myself Amrinder Mishra. We are continuing with the video lecture class on network analysis. To understand the different terms in network analysis, we are having a network diagram. Earlier it is network diagram gives us the relationship between each activities. We have seen that A activity, after A activity we are having B activity and C activity will be performed. After B activity the D activity will be followed. After C activity E activity will be followed. Simultaneously the D and E activities are to be performed. After completion of all the activities, F activity will be done. From this network diagram, the first term is your event. The event is represented as a circle within which the event name is placed. There are 6 events are there, and the 6 events are denoted by the circle, or it is represented by the circle within which the event names are placed. Let's come to activity. Activity starts with the event, ends with the event. For suppose A activity, the start event is 1, the end event is 2. The activity represented by arrow mark, as the activity starts with 1, ends with 2, the arrow mark or arrowhead will be at event 2. Name of activity is A, it is written below the arrow mark. The activity duration, that is 7, which is the activity duration, or that is the time required to complete the activity. This is written on the top of the arrowhead line. Similarly, we are having A activity, B activity, D activity, C, E and F activities respectively. And each activities are represented by the arrow mark and with a name of activity and duration for each activity to complete it. The activity is further divided into critical activity, non-critical activity and dummy activity. In this network diagram, we are not having any dummy activity, but we are having critical activities as 1 to 2. This is A event, A activity, B activity, D activity and F activity. The C activity and E activity, these are known as your non-critical activity. For a critical activity, both the start time and end times are equal. For example, D activity, the start time is 20:20, end time is 37:37. But for a non-critical activity, the end time is 7:7, but the end times are 17:34. Start time is 7:7 and end time is 17:34. That means both are not equal. So this is the non-critical activity. The critical activities are suggested by a thick arrow. This is a thick arrow. Then what is critical path? Critical path means what? We have to see a sequence of critical activities in which the project duration lies. The critical activities are A, B, D and F. The sequence of 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 5 and 5 to 6, these events and activities A, B, D, F forming a path, and that path is known as a critical path. The critical path here we are representing by the thick arrow, and we are observing that the critical path 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, where all the activities are known as a critical activity. This is the sequence of all critical activities. What is total project duration? In critical path, we are having, there is a calculation that the most days required for completing the critical path, from the critical path maximum days is obtained as 63. That is the sum of the duration for each critical activity. So from critical path 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 5 and 5 to 6, we are observing the duration will be added 7, 13, 17 and 26, and total project duration will be 63. Let's comes to the another part, that is what is float and what are the types of float. Float means it is the spare time or margin of extra time above or over the duration time. The float is of three types: total float, free float and independent float. Total float means this is the additional time for the non-critical activity can consume without increasing the project duration. There is a formula related to total float, that means the latest starting time minus earliest starting time of activity, or the LFT minus EFT, latest finishing time minus earliest finishing time. It can be negative. Now free float. This is the float for activities will be delayed by free float period. Succeeding activity will not be delayed in turn. It does not change the float in later activities. There is a formula related to it. Free float is equal to EST of tail event minus EST of head event minus activity duration. The independent float is another type of float where we are going to say that the activity does not change the float in other activities, and it can be negative or taken to as 0. We are also deducing a formula for independent float, that is EST of tail event minus LFT of head event minus duration. What is tail event and what is head event? In this network diagram, A1 to 2 activity, there is a start event, there is a end event. The end event is known as your tail event and the first event is known as your head event. So while we are calculating the float, then LST for start time 0, 0, end time this is finish time, start finish time is 7 as EFT, 7 as LFT. So EST is equal to 0, LST is equal to 0, EFT is equal to 7, LFT is equal to 7. LST is equal to 7 minus 0 minus 7, that is 0. Again, we are going to say free float means that is 7 minus 0 7 minus 7 minus 0, that is your free float. Total float means 7 minus 7, 0, 0 minus 0, 0. Now if you are going to say for B activity, start time is 7:7, end time is 20:20. So finish time EFT and LFT is 20:20. Start time EST and LST as 7:7. The total float will be 20 minus 20 0 and 7 minus 7 is equal to 0. But the free float will be EST of tail event as 20 minus EST of head event, that is 7, 20 minus 7 minus duration, that is 30 is equal to 0. In this way, we are going to calculate the free float, total float and independent float for the activity. Independent float can be calculated as, this is LFT of tail event, that is 20, EST of head event 7, so 20 minus 7 minus 13, that is equal to 0. Thank you.